Ocean Master and Aquaman. In terms of siblings, the older one really got the shaft on the name, right? I'm Aquaman. Here's my brother, Ocean Master. You're right. I'll sit over here. You two have fun. Poor Arthur. These are the things I think about. Aquaman. So Aquaman is a DC movie starring Jason Momoa as Arthur Curry, who is Aquaman. His father's a lighthouse keeper. His mother was Atlantean royalty. So they have the kid Arthur, who is a person of both worlds. But he has his brother Orm, who rules Atlantis, so he has to go challenge him for the throne, and you know how that goes. And I thought Jason Momoa was really good as Arthur Curry. Until now, I hadn't gotten a good look as to how he was going to be portrayed in this movie. Some shots from the trailer, sure, they still played up those badass, woohoo, falling out of a plane. I'm like, is he like Bodhi from Point Break? Funny that I said that in Chain of Thought. Point Break reference made me think of Tony Stark and his Point Break reference he made in the Avengers, which made me think of the fact that Arthur Curry makes movie references like that in here. Mara says she's gonna fight someone. He's like, hey, Fight Club, hold on. I was like, are you Tony Starking right now? Not like Tony Stark is the only one with the license to do that. I'm just saying, you know, when they were making this movie, they were like, it totally works for Tony Stark. Let's have him do that too. But if it works, it works. It made me chuckle. But I like Jason Momoa's portrayal as Arthur Curry. He's a pure dude. He's just a simple guy. He's a simple guy who doesn't want to be king, nor is he probably qualified to be king. But he's a good dude with a pure heart, so damn it, he's qualified here. But I don't know that the logistics and politics of your world doesn't matter. Fight your brother for the throne, dude. We did see him in Justice League. We got a feel for him there, sure. But you got the feeling there were probably going to be some retcons, like they were going to go about Aquaman a little differently since they kind of changed up the DCEU and what they wanted to do, the direction they were going versus the direction they're now going. And I think there are some differences, changes, some retcons. You see that scene in Justice League where Arthur Curry's talking to Mara? Completely different characters. Mara's completely different. Arthur in that scene's like, my mom gave me up, didn't even give me a second thought. You kind of get the feeling he has like a chip on his shoulder for that. He does not view his mom in that light at all in this movie. Much longer story than I wanted to make it short. I like Jason Momoa as Arthur Curry. I liked Amber Heard as Mara too. I would have liked Mara to have a little bit of edge to her. I mean, Mara's like, I don't like the surface world. They're all dicks. I remember this one scene in the comic book, not saying this totally has to follow the comic book completely, but it was a really cool scene where someone's giving her shit and she can control water and she starts evaporating the water from the person's body. She doesn't kill him. She just wants him to know, just shut up. There's no moment like that in here for her. She's kind of like, I don't like the surface world, but let's pal around, I'll help you. Her character is completely likable. In fact, when you watch the Justice League scene after Aquaman, which I totally YouTube, because I had questions like, did he know her before that scene? Because I kind of got the feeling he did when I watched Justice League. When you watch this movie, it's like that's the first time they meet, so I kind of watch it with new eyes. But by comparison, her role in Justice League, she comes across as completely boring. Aquaman, much more interesting, so I'll take this. I just wish they would have played up a bit more of her character on, hey, I don't like the surface people. They play it fine, I just wish they would have played it up a bit more. Maybe give her a Cobra Kai kind of moment where it's like, oh, you don't act like that, just do it in self-defense maybe. I also really liked the action. The action was really exciting. In terms of the early trailers to now, they have changed up the voices. I remember first when I saw the trailer, I was like, it doesn't even look like they're underwater. It doesn't seem like they're underwater. It doesn't sound like they're underwater. It's a little weird. It's freaking my brain out. They do alter their voices slightly. There are more bubbles underwater. It makes it feel like they're more underwater, so I'm glad they did that. But back to the point, the action, the fights, top notch. There's a small throwdown in a room near the beginning, and I was like, oh, that's how the action's gonna be? Because that was really cool. And it's totally like that. When the fights and the throwdowns are going down, you are engaged. You can't take your eyes off of it. It was solid comic book movie action. Also, Black Manta was really cool when he was here. When he was on screen, he was great. They did some good setup for him. Then he's there for one fight. And then after that, he's not there anymore. And that kind of bummed me out. He's like Boba Fett, but he did a bit more. I just think you can revolve a whole movie around Black Manta's story. Black Manta's story lends itself to you possibly feeling bad for Black Manta. It makes you feel a bit conflicted, but really you don't ever because he's a dick from the start. And he totally gets eclipsed and overshadowed by the plot at hand. It's like, you must fight your brother for the throne for the sake of the world. And oh yeah, that guy kind of has a grudge. Fight him once. Just a bit dwarfed by the situation. And that brings me to a point. This movie is really entertaining. A lot of fun, but it's also a lot. Just period. It's just a lot. A lot happens in this movie. You know how a lot of people are like, oh, this movie was kind of like this movie meets that movie. Usually they compare two movies to describe one movie. This is like Dune meets Black Panther or Lion King, whichever, meets Uncharted. Yeah, it's in here. It sounds weird, but that's a part of it. It's like they had a few different ideas for an Aquaman movie. They were like, let's crush them all together and make an Aquaman movie. Guys, in the end, I enjoyed Aquaman. It's about 2 hours, 20 minutes. I liked Arthur Curry. I liked liked his brother Orm. I like the conflict between the two. Maybe they should have saved that conflict for the second movie and had the first movie be Black Manta. I wish Black Manta had a larger role in this movie. Storytelling wise, none of it's as good or smooth as Jeff Johns' Aquaman run. I know I always talk about it when I talk about Aquaman, but it's really good. But the most important thing happened, and that is I got what I'm looking for when I go to the movies, and that is I enjoyed myself at the movies. I will say Aquaman is a good time, no alcohol required. And something I really like and respect this movie for is the fact that this Aquaman movie is an Aquaman movie. What I mean by that is it's not a Justice League sequel, it's not a Justice League 2 prequel. It doesn't use this Aquaman movie to set up whatever's coming next in the DCEU. If it even exists, I don't know, I've heard conflicting stories. Aquaman isn't a Birds of Prey setup movie. It keeps it in the pocket. It's Aquaman's story, Arthur Curry's story. What's happening in his world, his life, the world of Atlantis. He has to reluctantly take on his brother to hopefully take on the throne to save the world. Cool, that's Aquaman's story. It doesn't rely on anything that came before it. It doesn't use this to first and foremost set up whatever's coming next. All right, so Aquaman, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.